Hey everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I hope to read in the month of November. So unfortunately, I was not able to get to all the books on my list for October, so I'm trying to be a little bit kinder to myself this month, which honestly, it's not kind because I want to read all the books, but I have to be a little bit realistic and know that I cannot read all of the books that I want to read right now. So I'm limiting myself to about 8 this month, and if I read more than that, that's great. If I don't read 8, I'm trying to give myself some grace, but my life is just really busy right now, and so I've got to kind of balance my reading with my life and understand what I'm capable of doing right now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the 8 books that I plan to read in November. The first book I actually won in a Goodreads giveaway, and I'm so excited to be reading it with Lauren from Lauren Love Reads, and that is Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead by Elle Cosimano. We both read Finley Donovan is Killing It earlier this year and absolutely loved it. If you like Dead to Me on Netflix, you may like this as well. I'm actually not the biggest fan of Dead to Me, but I do really like this book, or the book before this. I like the series, I like the concept. It is a kind of dark humor, cozy mystery, and I love it so much. It follows our main character, Finley Donovan, and Finley is an aspiring writer, or she is a writer, and she is meeting with her agent in a Panera Bread and is talking about her next book and gets mistaken for a hit woman. This woman overhears them talking across across a few tables. She ends up dropping a wad of cash in her diaper bag and giving her a name and saying, "Hey, I need you to kill this guy for me." So chaos ensues from there, and Finley ends up having a confidant in someone in the story as well. They kind of have that whole Thelma and Louise thing going on, and this is just, it's so good. I never thought I would pick up a book like this. I don't know why. It's just something that I never thought I would enjoy that much, but it is so good, and I'm so excited to get into Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead, and I'm excited to be reading it with Lauren as well. This book comes out in February of 2022 if you want to get your hands on it. Like I said, I'm so excited that I get it early, and I'm excited to review this so you guys can kind of see what you are looking forward to with the book in February. The next book that I'm going to be buddy reading is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I have heard mixed things about this book, but from people that I trust, I've heard good things, and I personally am a fan of Alice Feeney. I really loved her book, Sometimes I Lie. The twist in it was just mind-blowing. I did not see it coming. I loved it so much. So I'm so excited to read Rock, Paper, Scissors. I'm going to be reading this with Ashley from the Bent Biblios podcast. And this book follows a couple. I believe it's Mr. and Mrs. Wright. Yes, Adam and Amelia Wright. And they've been married for 10 years. And things have been a little rocky for them. But Adam he has face blindness. And so he can't recognize his friends or family or even his own wife, and Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. But then they win this weekend away to Scotland, which may just be what their marriage needs. But they know that this weekend is either going to make or break their relationship, but one of them is lying, and somebody is determined to make sure that they don't make it out of this. I want to say make it out of it alive, but they don't want them to live happily ever after. So I'm so excited to read this. It just sounds really intriguing. It's set in a wintry looking setting, and it is getting colder outside, so I think this is going to be a good book to read in the cooler months. So I'm excited to read this with Ashley. We're actually both going to listen to it on audio, which I think is a great way to consume this. I really enjoyed listening to Sometimes I Lie on audio as well. The narrators with her books are always really good, so I'm excited to check this one out. The next book I'll be buddy reading is The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon, and I'm so excited for this buddy read because one, it's Jennifer McMahon, and you guys know I love Jennifer McMahon. The Winter People is one of my all-time favorite books, and I also really like the drowning kind, so I'm so excited to read The Night Sister, and this is actually going to be a bigger buddy read. I'm going to be reading this with Liv from Liv's Library, Lauren from Lauren Love Reads, and Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks. So I'm so excited to read this with some of my best bookish friends. So this book, I don't even actually remember what it's about because I just knew it was Jennifer McMahon, and I was like, I'm sold. So it says, in the 1950s, the Tower Motel, with its namesake tower, was the shining attraction of tiny London, Vermont. Now it stands in disrepair, alive only in the memories of 3 women, Amy, Piper, and Piper's sister Margot. They played there as girls until the day that their games uncovered something dark and sinister in Amy's family's past, something that ruined Piper and Margot's friendship with Amy forever. As adults, Piper and Margot have done everything they can to move on. Piper lives in California while Margot has devoted herself to studying local history and starting a family. Until one day, Piper receives a panicked call from Margot. Amy and her family are dead, supposedly killed by Amy's own hand, and before she died, Amy scrawled a message that the two sisters know was meant for them. 29 rooms. Suddenly, Margot and Piper are forced to revisit that fateful summer when they found a packed suitcase and haunting letters that once belonged to Sylvie Slater. Amy always claimed that her aunt had run away to Hollywood to live out her dream of becoming Hitchcock's next blonde bombshell of a leading lady. But the truth is much more complicated. As they investigate, a new story unfolds. One of Sylvie and Rose, two sisters who lived at the motel during its heyday, and one sister who carries a secret that will haunt the generations to come. I'm so excited to read this. So Jennifer McMahon, I'm assuming this is going to be set up like her other books where it's alternating between timelines. So I'm assuming it's going to be present day and then the past with Sylvie and Rose. So I'm excited to read this one. It sounds really spooky and ominous like all of Jennifer McMahon's books. I love her writing so much, and I'm so excited to buddy read this. Like I said, with some of my best bookish friends, I think this is going to be one of my favorite buddy reads. I'm so excited to talk to them about this, and yeah, this is just going to be a great reading month. So I'm so excited to get to the Night Sister. And the next book that I have is The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan. So there is a new book coming out called The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan that I really want to read in December, but I wanted to read one of her other books before I read the Christmas book, and I'm really getting into cozy books. I've noticed that. So I decided to pick up The Bookshop on the Corner, and honestly, I feel like I'm really going to love this. Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks really loved it, and I think I'm going to as well. It's about this woman named Nina, and Nina loves her job. She's basically like a literary matchmaker. She's a librarian, and she loves what she does. But then one day she loses her job, and she ends up moving to a sleepy village many miles away. And there she buys a van and transforms it into a bookmobile. And once again, she has become this literary matchmaker, and she is changing lives with the power of storytelling. I want to be Nina. Like, heck, I am Nina. I'm Nina minus the bookmobile. So clearly I need to get a bookmobile. But I love this so much, and I feel like I'm really going to resonate with Nina's character, and I'm so excited to read this. It sounds super cozy and like a perfect book to read this winter. The next book that I'm going to be reading is The Stillwater Girls by Minka Kent. I'm so excited to read this one as well, and I'm so excited that it's shorter because I'm trying to read so many books. But this is one of the books that reminds me of the movie The Village, and it is about these three sisters. Two of the older sisters end up being the main characters of the story, but the youngest sister gets sick and leaves with her mother, goes off to a nearby town. Now, the thing about it is all of these sisters, they are ignorant of civilization and cautioned against its evils, and they live off the grid in isolation in a primitive cabin in upstate New York. Then when this youngest sibling gets sick, the mother takes her off. The mother and the sibling don't come back. So months have passed and supplies are low. Winter is coming, and then a stranger comes and knocks on the door, and he claims to be looking for the girl's mother, and he's not leaving without them. So now to escape, the two sisters are going to have to break the one rule that they've always grown up with, and it's to never go beyond the forest. So they go past the forest and come up on this house, and they end up being confronted with something that is more chilling than the unknowable. So they'll discover what's been hidden from them and what they're running from, and the secrets that have left them in the dark their entire lives. If that does not sound like The Village to you, I don't know what does. It just gives me those vibes, and I love that movie, and I'm so excited to read this book. I feel like it's going to be really good. I've never heard anybody talk about it before. I think it came out a couple of years ago, but like I said, I have not seen this anywhere, and so I'm really excited to kind of introduce you guys to it if you haven't heard of it before. It came out in 2019, and it just sounds like such a good book to read this time of year, so I'm so excited to read this thriller soon. The next book that I want to read is actually a book that I was supposed to read with Lauren in September, but I ended up not getting around to it, and that is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I started this book and I really was vibing with the writing. It was very atmospheric, and you guys know I love my atmospheric reads. So I really wanted to give this book a fair chance. So I put it down because I didn't think I was going to be able to finish it that month, and I wasn't. So now I want to try to pick it up again because I really feel like I'm going to love it. I've heard mixed things about this book. A lot of people say it's really gory. And there are some things that go on that just make you uncomfortable. The ending maybe wasn't the greatest, I don't know. But Lauren really liked it, and I feel like Lauren and I have pretty similar reading tastes, so I'm going to give this one a try. I think I'm going to enjoy it. If anything, I think I'll love the writing, and essentially all that I know about it is that it's about this girl named Noemi, and Noemi's cousin calls her, and she is like, or maybe she doesn't call her, but she's getting in contact with her father or whatever, and she is ill. Something's wrong with her cousin. So it's important that Noemi goes up and tries to calm things down with her and see what's going on in the manor that they live in. I think that her cousin's family are a little bit odd. And so she goes up there and Noemi seems fine, but things are not fine. And there's some weird things going on with this house and with some members in this household, I think. So it just sounds like a really spooky Gothic story, and I'm really excited to read this one. The last book that I have on my list is probably like my least priority for the month, and that's just because I really want to get to all these others, but I also really wish that I would have gotten to this book in October, and I didn't. So that book is Dark Waters by Catherine Arden. I love Catherine Arden so much. I'm not a huge fan of her The Bear and the Nightingale series, but Small Spaces and Dead Voices are my vibe. I love it so much. Those books are amazing. They spooked me. They're middle grade spooky books, and they are the best. Like, better than Goosebumps. Sorry, R.L. Stein, but you got a competition here. So, Dark Waters is following the same characters from the first book, and this one follows, like, the Loch Ness Monster at this lake. I feel like this is going to be the book that I like the least of the ones I've read so far. But she also just announced another book. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll pop it up on the screen here. It's something Smiles, and now I'm just like, Catherine, are we friends or are we not? Because you've spooked me with all these books, but I've loved it, and now we've got clowns? Really? I don't know about this, guys, but I'm still excited about it. I'm just, clowns and me. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty common thing. Most people are just like uncomfortable with clowns. I'm okay with most of them, but the ones that look like the ones on this cover, like, please stay away. So anyways, but Dark Waters I really want to get to, but I may save this for middle grade March because that would be closer to the release date for the next book, which is next August. So I may save this until March and read it for middle grade March, but I don't know if I need a middle grade book to break up some of these heavier adult books, then I might read Dark Waters. But if you have not checked out the Small Spaces series, I highly recommend it. It is great. The spookiness, the vibes, the everything, like, just check it out. This is a great series. Hey guys, so I actually forgot about one of the books that I'm going to read this month because I don't own it yet. It's coming in next week. And that book is You've Reached Sam, and I'm so excited to read it because it's been pitched as the story about a girl whose boyfriend passes away and she wants to call him just to hear his voicemail one more time. But when she calls, he answers the phone. And now she's got like the secret between him and her. And I guess it's like his ghost. I don't even know. But she gets to talk to her. She gets to talk to him for a while. But she can't tell like his parents or her parents or anything. And it just sounds like it's going to be a huge sap fest. And I am here for it. So I'm really excited to read this book as well. Okay, y'all, those are all the books that I hope to read in November. I really, really hope that I'm able to get to all of them. I struggled last month. There's so many books that I did not get to in October. I'm really having to learn how to balance reading and my new job because I'm so tired all the time. If you know me, you know that I'm usually a night owl, but I'm going to bed at like 8 or 8:30 every day because I'm just so tired. So I'm trying to kind of readjust my life and still try to find time to do things that I love and enjoy, that I'm passionate about, like reading and filming and talking about books and everything. But I'm still kind of in an adjustment period. So hopefully I will be able to get through all of these books. If you have read any of these books, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And also let me know what is one book that you are the most excited to read in November. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, friends.